Hello, guys, and welcome to the Heritage Agendas Football Podcast. This is now episode 11. Another
Yeah,
week going. How are we doing today?
we're doing good, alhamdulillah. I think this might be our first back to back to back to back recordings, you know?
I think it
Have we
is.
I don't think we've ever done 3 weeks in a row.
I love the consistency this season.
All right, we're off to a hot start,
We're
yeah?
off to a good start. We're off to a good
Yeah.
start. But very, very interesting week. Another interesting week in football. A
Mm-hmm.
lot happened. And not really that much on the transfer side.
Yeah.
Um, but we saw a couple smaller moves. Mohamed Kudus went to West Ham instead of Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and Joao Cancelo alone moved to Barca. But so far, this week was pretty tame. Nothing on the Mbappe front. Nothing on really anything. Uh,
Chelsea didn't make another signing, you know, so
that's true for the first time in who knows how long. Uh,
yeah.
but it's to wrap up the window. We thought we'd do a little mini segment, have some fun. We'll start with we'll do four categories. So the winners of the window, in our opinion, the big
Okay.
losers, the best transfer for value and for production, and the worst transfer. So I'll start with you. This is for a pretty loaded question, but for you, who are the winners of the window? Maybe if not one team, maybe two.
Um for me, the winner of the window for me is, I think for the most part, I think it's Man City.
The
Um
winners of the window are Man City.
No, yeah, I think Man City
Okay,
because
explain.
mostly. All right, so they lost Ilkay Gundogan, which was
Yes.
like was a integral part of their whole team for the last. I think he was there for 5 6 years.
Mhm.
But I like, for the most part, I think just like because they're coming off a treble, and I think they kept everything the same. As I like winners, to me, doesn't really mean who you brought in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For the most part, that treble team is still here. I think injuries aside, I think they can line up 10, 11 players from at any given time that won a treble with them. Um, and I think adding Jeremy Doku, I think that's like for the most part, I like him a lot, but I think City won. But I don't really have much to say other than just they're the best team in the world and they stayed the same. Obviously Pep is gone right now, but I think they need one more midfielder, and I think they will they will get it done. And I think the Wolverhampton midfielder,
Yeah,
um,
Mateus Nunez,
they'll get him.
yes.
Yeah, I think they'll get him. And it's a quiet. They missed out on a lot of their targets,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they were just being greedy for the most part. But I like that they just stayed the same. They stayed home. They kept most 90% of their starting 11, and that's about it. I think they're gonna pretty much. I don't think they're gonna be a treble winners team again, but I think they'll win trophies. I think they'll win every trophy probably in England, and then try hard for Champions League.
I got a couple teams here. We'll go
Mm,
kind of one by one down the list. I'm curious to see what you think. I think the
yeah,
obvious one that sticks out for me is Chelsea. And
yeah.
I think for Chelsea, the logic is that not only were they great in terms of who they bought,
Hmm.
you can argue some of the prices. Moises Caicedo, 110 million, of course, is the one that stands out the most in terms of, overpayments. But just their ability to sell and how much they were getting for players that I thought that they wouldn't get half the money that they were getting, or even really to be able to unload them. Um,
Yeah.
Mason Mount, 65 million pounds, crazy. Havertz almost cut a profit or broke even, crazy. Edouard
Hmm.
Mendy, someone who didn't play last season, you get money off the books and you get a sizable transfer fee. Obviously, Mateo Kovacic hurts, but he was kind of in and out of the squad last season. Kalidou Koulibaly was someone I thought that they were going to have difficulty to sell as well. Christian Pulisic to get 25 million, even Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and now it looks like they're going to be able to get Cucurella off the books, and even Kepa after they got Robert Sanchez, they were able to move him pretty quickly. So the
Yeah.
sales for Chelsea have been impressive, and it finally looks like, even though they're buying every young player under the sun right now, and we kind of joke about that a lot. Uh, they finally have direction, I think, in their squad, and you can kind of see where it's going. That
Hmm.
young, energetic route. They filled a lot of their weaknesses. I still think that Olise hurts, but you look at their squad, it's very, very deep, and there's a lot of opportunities for youth to grow. And I think next year is when we're really going to start to see, like, wow, X player that they bought for 15 million from some random club is really, really starting to perform. And you're going to have a couple of them, when you shoot your shot 20 times. I will say, in terms of who spent well, which is, I think this is kind of funny, considering
Yeah.
maybe even 3 4 weeks ago we wouldn't have talked well about this club, would be West Ham. I think selling Declan Rice and bringing in three really, really good players for the money: Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, and Mohamed Kudus now, I think is fantastic business. They pretty much patched up all the weaknesses in their squad, and they're a much better team than, in my opinion, they were last year. If Paqueta can stay, and I think this one is pretty interesting. But PSG, obviously,
Yeah.
we don't give them credit often. But
Yeah.
anytime you lose Neymar and Messi in a window, and I think their team is much, much better than it was at this point last year. To bring in Milan Skriniar in a free is fantastic business. Manuel Ugarte, 60 million. They finally get a proper defensive midfielder that they really have not had um, in who knows how long.
Ever. Yeah.
Keeping Mbappe, getting a true number nine, something they haven't had since Edison Cavani in Gonzalo Ramos. The Colomwani deal fell through, which hurts. Maybe Barcola. We'll see if that goes through before the end of the window. And bringing in Usman Dembele for just 50 million is crazy business. So they're definitely a better team than they were last year. And yeah, those are for me the big winners. I don't know, thoughts on the teams I just talked about.
I think Chelsea, I agree with you in terms of just who they sent out. Like I was unbelievable business on their part, getting rid of
Yeah.
all those players that were pretty much not doing anything for their club in terms of production. But I think like who they brought in it's a gamble. Obviously they're taking as many chances as possible at it with bringing in as many young talents, but that's to be seen. But and I don't think it will translate as quickly as this season.
No, no.
But PSG, I agree with you. I think um they've completely restructured the whole team, now building around their best player, Kylian Mbappe. And then getting him to stay, I agree with you. And still a few days left of the window, but
He's
I think he'll
staying.
stay.
He's not
Yeah,
leaving.
and he's not leaving. So and they're deeper now. They're not reliant on solely three players that are all like just sitting up the pitch, that are not
Marco
defending, all
Asensio
that
too.
stuff.
I forgot to mention. Yeah.
Yep. On yeah, so I agree with you. I think Chelsea is yet to be seen. I think that's more of a 1 2 3 years down the road, how their last 2 3 transfer windows will pan out. But PSG, I think we'll see it soon, because those are all really valuable players who've contributed in from all the clubs they came from. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Move on. Let's see. I know who this one is. Biggest losers.
okay, I have two.
Okay.
One is Man United.
Yeah. That's okay. And okay.
one one is Man United, because I was watching their game over the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and their starting 11 was the exact same starting 11 as last year.
Yep.
They just shuffled some players around.
Except for the keeper, obviously, but
Keeper, yeah, except for the keeper. But I think Dalot was playing left back. But in terms of like nobody that they signed this summer was on the field,
nope.
which means they spent $245 million and are not better.
Yep.
Obviously, injuries
You
aside,
can argue they're worse.
they're worse, exactly. So Man United, I don't see the vision, because they have the same exact team, a team whereas Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, you can all say have even improved after the summer transfer window.
Hmm.
Whereas what it's looking like right now, they stayed the same and they were barely a top four team last year,
Yep.
as constructed right now. And from their signings, from what we've seen, Mason Mount is not a perfect fit. That's somebody they chased all summer, and for him, for it to be known he's not a fit with they're already with Bruno and Casemiro, that's hard to digest. I think within the first month of the season, Onana I think will be obviously
Good signing.
replacing De Gea. That's a good signing, but I don't really see anything going forward for them, at least this season. Maybe he gets another 300 million next summer to do something, but right now it's just the same team as last year.
Yeah. And who's the other one?
And my other one is Real Madrid.
Okay.
um, I think they have a really good team on paper. As if you look at the roster,
Yep.
the only reason why I'm saying they haven't had a good window is basically they have an incomplete squad,
I
which
agree.
is which is the issue, which has been the issue for them, like the last few years. But they've been able to just survive basically because of their really good players aging well over the past
Yep.
years.
It's very true.
Um, they have not replaced
Karim
Benzema.
Benzema, yeah.
The one person they brought in this summer, Jude, is on like he I don't think like what he's doing right now, I don't think is sustainable as
I agree.
even though it looks completely, it looks like he's going to be doing this, but I just don't think he's going to be scoring 38 goals in the league
He's
this year.
not. He's not. So you're
Which if that
100%
falls off a
correct.
cliff, they have been hit with injuries really quickly. Vinny's out, Militao is out. Fullbacks have been an issue for the past 3-4 years. So I don't think they've gotten. I think they've gotten enough to maybe obviously they'll make top four, but in terms of competing for trophies, I think it's not going to happen this year, just like it didn't happen last year,
Yeah.
which is not a good thing when it's back to back years. And I hate it because it will all fall back on Carlo Ancelotti, and I don't think it's his fault because
Yep.
I think today the board came out and said they're done for the window.
They've been
They
saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when you can see such glaring holes in terms with injuries, with not having proper attackers, and I believe they brought back a few Brian, what's his name, Brian
Brahim
Diaz.
Diaz. Yep.
Yeah, and
Arda
uh
Güler.
so so Artigul is injured, so like some of the players they have brought in they're not going to be producing for a while. I don't think Brian Diaz has made an appearance this season, so yeah, I think Real Madrid for the most part, I don't. It's not good. It's going to be a long season for you guys.
So we have the same two losers.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
save the Madrid talk to after I talk about United because oh,
Yeah.
but we'll start with United so I can kind of relax
Yeah.
because for United we talked about they reminded me a lot of Chelsea last season where we went
Mhm.
into the season and Chelsea had holes in their squad. They spent exorbitant amounts of money and they didn't solve them. Last season for Chelsea, it was a number nine, a creative
Yeah.
midfielder, and defending help.
Hmm.
If we look at this United squad, fullbacks, I think for a
Big
club
issue.
that is competing in the top four, to have Luke Shaw, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Diogo Dallo is unacceptable. Absolutely
Yeah.
unacceptable. Uh, Another midfielder that kind of physical box to box can help Bruno to alleviate him of those defensive responsibilities. A true dominant right winger and a
Hmm.
striker. I think and a keeper. Those were the five weaknesses before if you told me in May what does United need to do, I would tell you those five. Goalkeeper, hats off. Onana,
They
great
got one.
signing. He was 65 million. He wasn't cheap, but hats off. They won't have keeper questions for a while, in my opinion. Especially with how good he is distribution wise, one of the best in the world.
Hmm.
Fullbacks, no movement, absolutely no signings. to have Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Diogo Dalot right back, left back as a club that basically wants to compete for titles, unacceptable. Midfielder, they still don't have a physical box to box midfielder, and there's been a lot this summer, and they brought in
Available, yeah.
Mason Mount for 65 million, like you said. From minute one, a ton of people were saying the fit just doesn't make any sense. You cannot sit Casemiro on an island. And that's this weekend they went to Christian Eriksen, and I thought that their midfield looked better than it did with Mason Mount. Even I
It
think
did.
that they should have been in the runnings for people like Moises Caicedo, for maybe Amadou Onana from Everton. There's tons of names in that role. Obviously, this is gonna start to go back to that Eric Ten Hag and people questioning his ability to find talent. And a
Yeah.
number nine, and a right winger. Anthony, like it or not, has shown some flashes, maybe flashes within games, not even flashes of full games. For 100 million, it's a failure, like it or not. Maybe obviously he's young and has time to prove us wrong, but you would have liked to see more guaranteed production. And how can Manchester United in 2023 trot out Anthony Martial? How has striker not been addressed? There are so many options on the market. Even if you want to just go get someone who's decent and link and play, can go get you goals. Why hasn't Dusan Vlahovic, who's been on the market the whole summer, been looked at? Victor Osimhen, there was never shouts with Manchester United, even though I don't think he would go there. But
Mm-hmm.
those are the weaknesses for me. And for me, the thing is, when you spend 240 million, like you said, and you've patched one out of five weaknesses, you have failed fundamentally. Just to spend money, you have failed.
Yeah.
So I think United are in for a tough season. It was we'll obviously talk about the game in a little bit, but that game this weekend was shaky. They
Mm-hmm.
still don't have the best options on the bench. Maguire, how was Maguire not sold? Uh, there's
Yeah.
still issues with center back now. Varane is out, so Lindelof and Martinez are pretty much your only two reliable center backs, and they're going to bring in Cucurella. So we'll see. But I think very disappointing on the United front.
Yeah. They they did not get better, and everybody else did around them, and
And you could
that's
say they got worse
they got worse. Yeah.
because they have aging veterans. Rafael Varane, Casemiro are not getting any better,
They they are not.
and you will not get 35 goals out of Marcus Rashford, no matter what people try and say. But
Forget 35 goals from Rashford. You're not getting one goal from Anthony Martial. Like that should be that
it's
is
his 10th year. It's unreal the fact that he's still getting consistent minutes. But now Real Madrid, who's that
yeah.
is a whole other. I had a conversation with our friend Mohammed earlier in the week. It was an hour. We were
Yeah.
talking about Madrid and the board. The
Yeah.
only words I could really think of when it comes to Madrid is just sabotage. I think that there's a huge problem with the board and their tendencies when there's issues with a coach. I think my theory, obviously this isn't confirmed or denied, is that this all trickles back to that first season of Carlo Ancelotti, who was brought in to be a transition coach and was able to find a lot of success in his first season, winning the double.
Mm-hmm.
And Real Madrid have a tendency to sabotage their coaches, and the problem is that they run this very unorthodox transfer strategy where the coach really has no say in the players he's bringing in. I think since the time of Mourinho, who's really the only coach I can remember, every other coach kind of just you coach the squad that you're given, kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a huge problem in the last couple windows. COVID is excusable. Obviously, a lot of clubs, especially in Spain, were leaking money out during COVID. And this obsession with one guy, Mbappe,
Yeah.
is single handedly ruining the squad. how many players now has Madrid let go, sold, or not gone for because of Mbappe? This season alone, Harry Kane, I would think that he would be wearing a Real Madrid shirt if it wasn't for Mbappe. Erling Haaland last season, I think, was because of Mbappe. Ashraf Hakimi was sold because of Mbappe. Maybe Marcos Llorente too, uh, and countless others. And the problem is, you sold Benzema. Benzema told the team he was leaving in May. This is not some new development. You had the entire summer to strategize for a number nine. How many number nines are in the market? We just talked about the same problem with Manchester United, and this is Real
Hmm.
Madrid. And the excuses I see for some of these players, they just hurt my head. Some of the fans are such, apologists and are stuck in 2011. It is not 2011 anymore. And the problem is that when you talk about Fiorentino Perez and Real Madrid's board, a lot of people get very defensive very quickly, as if they're immune to criticism. Florentino Perez is a legend of Real Madrid. He's brought the club up miles above where it was when he bought it, which is saying something considering it's such a legendary football club. But
Hmm.
the fact of the matter is there has been consecutive windows of just it's just pathetic. The excuses I see from Spanish journalists who ultimately are just perpetuating the board's views are a joke. How can you, as Real Madrid, go into a season with four attacking players? Just four attacking players to fill three positions. And now Vinicius is hurt. You have three players for three positions. How can Real Madrid have three players for three positions? It just doesn't make any sense. Throw a couple million at a loan or throw 20 million here. I look at Real Madrid and I see exactly what you said. It's a very, very incomplete squad. There is no number nine. And let's get it
Yeah.
out of the way with Mbappe, and this is where I start to get really, really frustrated. Mbappe is not a number nine. He is a great
Yeah.
player who can play as a number nine, but he is not a number nine. And the problem I see with Mbappe is, like we said, he's a huge diva.
Yeah.
People think that Mbappe is going to come to Real Madrid and he's going to go play number nine, and he's not going to create any issues when he just kicked Neymar and Messi out of PSG because they were not letting him play his true position, which is who knows what free roam. This is when I start to get really frustrated. And he's going to just play number nine with his back to the goal and just kind of sit there. It's very
Yeah.
frustrating to hear these fans throw seasons, because at the end of the day, you are literally throwing this season in the gutter by not appropriately buying players. And it goes back to the letter of Zidane when he left. I don't know if you read it, but
Mm.
he was saying, I was never backed in this job. That is Zinedine Zidane, who played for Real Madrid, coached Real Madrid from all levels, all the way up, has great relationships with Florentino Perez, saying, I was never backed. When we had a difficult point in the season, there were people saying that I would be sacked. And now we're watching the same thing happen with Carlo Ancelotti. And I agree with exactly what you said. When it's a when for me at this point, because there will be injuries. It is football. There's more games, there's more minutes, it's more intense. When there will be hiccups in the season, and I think that they're going to be worse than last season. Last season there were hiccups. All the blame is going to go to him. And
Yeah.
fans are going to eat it up because they're going to hit us with the Mbappe free signing 2024. So for me, it just is a fundamental failure. And Harry Kane, how you can't sign him, it doesn't make any sense. I saw an excuse on Twitter this week that said Victor Osimhen is the type of striker who can only get goals. And I looked at it for like a couple seconds. I was like, what does that even mean? That's his job.
Yeah.
He goes and gets you 25 goals a season. That's what you have a striker for. But even now, if you go to get a striker, which there's 2 days left in the window, it's not going to happen. But you're going to have to pay a 40 million premium if you go and get a high level player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Curious to see on what you think of what I said. There's a lot more, and it's very, very frustrating as a fan to just watch it happen season after season. It's pathetic in my opinion.
The Mbappe aside, for years now, like this is nothing new from 2017, 2018.
Yep.
You hear like Real Madrid has money, you know? They have
Yep.
money to spend. They have
Yep.
money to spend. And all these years, from that till now, you've I think the two like high signings that one is Eden Hazard and the other one is Jude Bellingham.
Yep.
So they shot 50% on those. Hazard didn't work out, and Jude right now is off to a good start.
Yeah.
And all that is from the squad they built over the years. And I think you like some of these players we take for granted how well they've been playing over the years. Like Casemiro, Cruz, and Modric are aging like fine wine. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they held a lot together during those years,
Mm-hmm.
especially because even like I remember I believe it was 2017 when it was the second year you guys won the Champions League.
Yep.
But like I remember in like April, May, where you guys are resting all the heavyweights,
Yep.
Benzema,
And
Bale,
the bench was
all the
crazy.
and the bench was Isco, was Morata, was James, you know? None of
Yeah.
that is, and it hasn't been
Kovacic,
all those young
Varane. Yep.
players were all there at that time, which is you saw the development in, you know, the elite talent, and then the elite talent of the future were all at the club at the time. You know, some of those
Yep.
players didn't work out, but they contributed to those titles.
Mm-hmm.
um but and then as all those players just left, Morata was sold, Isco aged out,
They
Kovacic was
just never
sold, all those
replaced
stuff,
them.
and they never replaced them. And now Modric is 36, Cruz is 34, Casemiro's gone. But I think you've replaced the midfield.
The
I get
midfield is
that.
good.
The
Like I
midfield
said,
is good.
hats off to, like I said for United, with hats off to Onana. You have to give credit
Yeah,
where credit is due. People
yeah,
were saying Bellingham is a questionable signing for 100 million. 100% great signing. 10 out of
yeah.
10 signing. Arda, sorry to cut you off, but Arda
No, you're
Guler,
good.
Arda
Mm-hmm.
Guler, great signing, pulling him away from Barcelona, just 20 million. Great signing, 18-year-old kid, lot of potential. Good job. You bring Brahim Diaz back on loan and you get rid of Asensio. Questionable, but we
Yeah,
can excuse it. But let's look at,
yeah.
like with United, the weaknesses of the squad. You lost your goalkeeper to an ACL injury. You bring in
Mm-hmm.
Kepa for a season-long loan. Okay, we can excuse it. Even though I would have gone for Yassine Bounou, who is going to go to Saudi Arabia for just 20 million. Okay, we can excuse it. Right back. How can you not bring in a competent right back to challenge for Carvajal? Sure, Carvajal has been playing great this season, but how does he not have any competition? Lucas Vasquez is not competition for a right back position for a top team in 2023. I'm sorry. This is, and he never has been, by the way.
No.
Fresneda, who's the number one promising prospect for Spanish football as a right back, went to Sporting for 9 million euros.
Yeah,
Which for Real Madrid, what is 9 million euros for an 18-year-old kid? Nothing. It's literally nothing. Left back, you bring in Fran Garcia. Good job. Hats off. Good signing, 5 million. And next season they're rumored to go for Alfonso Davies, even though we're probably gonna hear whatever excuse Mbappe this garbage. Okay.
yeah,
Center backs. Eder Militao tears his ACL. Three center backs for two spots, and you're gonna play 60 to 65 games this season. And one of them will get injured. You like it or not, it's going to happen. It's almost impossible that none of them will get hurt.
yeah,
Rafa Marin, who maybe not a lot of people are familiar with, one of the most promising kids from Real Madrid's academy, is loaned out. They don't even bring in a kid from the academy to challenge for that fourth spot. You can't bring in a single center back on loan. Benjamin Pavard is right there from Bayern Munich. He's begging to leave. He's 20 to 25 million. He can play right back and back up Carvajal, and he can start at center back. In the
yep,
midfield, good job. Seven players in the midfield challenging for three spots or four now because they're playing that diamond. Good job. You're set there.
yeah,
You can bring Modric from the bench, Kamavinga. They're doing great. You go to the attack and it just baffles my mind. How can you not start with a number 9? You are Real Madrid. You cannot go into a season without a striker. Joseu is not a striker that you can start week in and week out. And you have 3 players now for 3 positions. What happens if Rodrigo gets hurt? Who are they going to play?
yeah.
Who are you going to
Nobody.
start? They don't have anyone. And the thing that hurts my brain even more is, okay, Barcelona have no money. They somehow bring in players. They take shots on players that sometimes don't work. Kessié didn't work, they got rid of him. Bellerin didn't work, they got rid of him. Okay, even when they don't bring in signings, they at least play kids. They at least play people from the academy. There are tons of people in Real Madrid's academy who have been talking about for a long time. There's a new kid who I saw who I think has 35 goals in 40 games in the academy. I'm forgetting his name now, but he's never going to get called up. Nico Paz is a really, really good Argentinian midfielder who's probably not going to get called up. Vinicius Tobias, they brought in on that loan option from Shakhtar. He's a right back. He still hasn't played minutes with the first team other than from preseason. Look at Barcelona. When they were struggling for money, Balde took over that left back spot. He still has it. Gavi, even though I don't rate him, they were playing him, to be fair. And now with Yassine Lamal,
Yeah.
and that one kid who scored in preseason that crazy goal against Real Madrid. So they're playing their kids. So if you're not going to bring in people, at least replace them with people from the academy. How can you loan out Rafa Marin as your fourth center back? At least keep him in the squad. Play him for 10 games. If he's garbage, whatever, you move on. You go sign Pavard 25 million. If he's garbage, go sell him for 15 million. You are Real Madrid, 10 million is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it is, if they don't have money or what is it? I don't know.
Is it nothing though? Because they're not willing to spend it.
It is nothing. What is 9 million to Real Madrid?
We seen them? We've seen them spend money, but most of it is just Mbappe. We're saving for Mbappe. You have to have a war chest for Mbappe. So and Mbappe has not worked out for 4 years, 4 different
All
separate
that
occasions.
and not even a bid. They didn't even make a bid. Which maybe it's politics and they want to get him for free, but you cannot throw seasons out. These are players.
And Carlo Ancelotti is just the middle guy that's suffering.
And he's gonna leave next year. And think about it. The last time that they had a coach, because coaches take note of this stuff, like it or not. Who's going to want to go into a system where you're not backed by your board? The second you lose, it's on you. You get no signings you want because Carlo Ancelotti. The rumors were that he was screaming for a striker.
Yeah? I mean, he doesn't have one. I would understand. There's no one. So
he wanted Kane, and Paris said it's Mbappe or bust. That's the rumor that came out this week. And like it or not, the media leaks stuff from parties. You have to think about who's releasing that. That sounds like a leak from a coach. Yeah. But we could stay on Madrid for 50 minutes. I could sit here and rage and whine.
I see the vein popping up in your head.
There was one here for a second. I felt it go up when I started talking about how Mbappe is not a 9. I'm so sick of them talking about Mbappe is coming to play number 9. He is not a 9. And I promise you, I'm just going to put this out here so I can say I said it. When Mbappe comes, or I shouldn't say when, if he comes next summer, there will be stuff in the media about how Vinicius Jr. is playing on the left and he wants that position. I'm just gonna say it from now.
It's like the most obvious thing that's coming. And I don't think Vinicius is gonna get moved or anything like that. But Mbappe is just gonna be unhappy once again because
he's going
Vinicius
to play striker.
Is a world-class player.
They're gonna lose a game, and he's gonna say, "I want to play on the left."
Yeah,
and we'll see. We'll see.
And you know how media is around Real Madrid. That's one little thing is, it's going to take over the world.
Haaland right now or Kane, who are 2 players who fit that system perfectly. Even the last thing we'll talk about Madrid because I don't want to sit here for the whole episode and talk about them. But the one thing that hurts me about Haaland is his profile as a striker. He is the best transition forward I have seen since I've started watching, I would say. In terms of just his first step is crazy, and when you get him in transitions, it's over. And sadly, that's a side of his game that we never see at City.
Nope.
Never. He's almost never went to City on a counterattack. And that's something that really could have been unlocked at Madrid. That is that is what he does best. You give him one step in the box, he'll score, or on a counterattack, it's over. Imagine him and Vinicius with Bellingham and Valverde trailing behind, but big losers, Real Madrid.
So many what ifs with Real Madrid over the years. It's
because of one guy.
It's the biggest club in the world, and it appears so according to the players. Everybody wants to play for them.
Yep.
But they don't want anybody. They only want one person.
It's so frustrating. But let's move on. that
Mhm.
was a long rant. To your best signing of the window.
Um, my best signing of the window. I'm gonna be a little bit a homer here, but I think
Okay.
it's Declan Rice. At least, I would say Jude Bellingham, obviously, but I think we talk about Madrid enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but like for Declan Rice, I think like if you look at like Arsenal's team last year compared to this year, in terms of just physicality and what he brings to the table is
Mm-hmm.
everything they were missing. Obviously, it hasn't. It's 3 games into the season. You don't see, but you see glimpses here or there, especially against City, where we matched up fairly even against them when
Mm-hmm.
they have De Bruyne, they have Rodri, they have Diaz, they have Gavardio, all those players. I think like Arteta's main goal this summer, going into the summer, was we got to compete with physically, we got to compete, and all the other stuff I think will come just from familiarity and playing together and all that stuff. But Declan Rice is 6'1". He's huge. He moves just as fast as anybody in midfield, and he covers so much ground. And him and Partey, like they've played so well together. They haven't played in midfield together, but they
Yep.
play really well together. I think he's been what he brings to the table. I think in terms of a summer signing, what he
Yeah. Great
brings and
player.
what a club needs, I think he fits perfectly.
Great player. I agree, and it really
Yeah,
unlocks a lot for Arsenal in the physical department. I'm gonna go with an
yeah,
interesting one. I think value for money. I was between two, but I'm gonna choose one.
yeah.
I would say James Madison.
Oh, yeah,
45 million, I believe.
yeah.
Our Tottenham have not had a player like that since the days of prime Christian Eriksen or maybe even Dele Alli, where that free roaming playmaker who can do well, and I think he's been fantastic.
They got, especially when obviously Leicester got relegated, but like what other midfielders are going for, getting somebody like that. Their coach, he was asked the same question. There was like, is $45 million a bargain? And he was like, what? $45 million, you know? But it is in today's market, you know? That's a excellent pickup for value, yeah.
It is. What about your
Who
word
was
signing?
who wa- who was your other option? Just
James Ward
curious.
Prowse.
Oh, okay.
He's
My
he's he's
worst
gonna
sign.
he gets you 10 goals a season just from his set piece stuff.
Yeah, I was hoping he would go to a like obviously like to a bigger club,
I
but
like the fit.
he left. He left Southampton. That's all that matters. My worst signing. Um, I don't. I was. Let's see. My
I already
worst
talked
signing of the
about this
summer.
guy, but you want me to go
I
first?
don't. I no. I'm trying to not be repetitive, but you go
Well,
ahead.
who
You go
who
ahead.
who are you thinking? Who's the first one who comes in your head? Because I know who's mine.
It's Mason Mount, but I don't want to.
Mason
I
Mount.
Yeah. You. So you take the
That's
floor.
my
I'll
worst
think.
one.
I'll think of somebody else.
The fit just never made sense. 65 million pounds. Fit never
Yeah.
made sense. Doesn't work with that midfield. He's not a box to box midfielder at all. Just weird. Just a weird signing. Very, very
Yeah. It
weird.
was. It didn't make sense. I'll just stick with it. I'll say Mason Mount because like I think because like Chelsea scamming Man United out of 65 million for him was like I think the shock of the window because he literally played nothing the season before. So
Mm-hmm.
like at least Kai Havertz you can say oh he was the leading scorer of Chelsea, you know, for with 7 goals. Like that's something you could get away with, you know?
Yeah.
But like Mason Mount did absolutely nothing for even Lampard came and still he wasn't playing, you know? So and Man United took the bait and now it's ruined like their whole midfield. He has to play and it's not going to work. He must play. Like there's no way you can justify him not playing with that kind of price tag. But United have like 7 other players that are just like that. So it's like he fits right in perfectly. The
Yep.
overpriced doesn't fit and doesn't produce. So it's a long,
Yeah,
long
no,
year
I,
for
I
them.
agree. Big losers. But
The um I thought about saying Kai Havertz, but I was like, no. I'll wait on that one. I'll give him a few more
let's
weeks.
move to. Uh, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but this happened like 15 minutes ago. Maybe we can get like 30 seconds on this.
Mm.
Barcelona are gonna try to go for Joao Felix pretty hard, which is pretty interesting.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, let's talk. Let's
Joao Felix needs a home, man.
let's talk
He's
about
a
the
Go
team he
ahead.
plays for now, because actually this is what I wanted to talk about.
Does he play for them?
Which no, he
The team he's
doesn't.
on
The team
on
he's on is what I should say. Atletico
Yeah,
Madrid, who we didn't talk about them in the segment about best winners of the window, but
yeah.
their team is fantastic. They've gotten a lot better, and I just kind
Hmm.
of want to read off some names in terms of who they have in the attack, considering they've been kind of deficient on money. Antoine
Yeah.
Griezmann, Memphis Depay, Yannick Carrasco, Angel Correa, Alvaro Morata, and Joao Felix. They have five guys to fill those two positions. And they've gotten a lot better. Marcus Llorente now comes off their bench with Molina. Carrasco is there, and they brought in Javi Galan from Celta Vigo. They brought back Samuel Lino from Valencia, Cesar Sianshu. They have been fantastic this season so
Hmm.
far. They have been on a very hot start to the league. What do you think about them so far overall?
I was I was looking over like their they drew I think the first game of the season, but
Yes,
they
but the
conceded
second,
no goals.
yeah.
Yeah, they haven't conceded any goals this season yet.
Just
And
one, yeah,
obviously
to Granada, but
did they?
yeah, one to Granada,
Was it
but
3-1? 3-1? Was
3-1,
it
yeah,
3-1 game?
3-1,
Yeah, my bad.
yes, very
So
good.
they've conceded one goal. The and now obviously the dismantling of what is it, Rayo, right? And
Away
like
too.
away too, yeah. So like I really like the they got Aspilicueta on free, Soyonsu on free. And those two didn't even they weren't even playing. Like their coach is just I don't know. He's been so consistent for so long. It's
Diego
not surprising
Simeone,
to
very
me.
good coach.
He gets the most out of whatever team he's obviously they've missed like Thomas Lamar and Joao Felix did not work out in terms of their big signings, but and then they are lacking funds, so they're just like here or there, just whatever they can get. But obviously, we're having Griezmann full time now. They don't have to freaking play him 20 minutes a game to meet transfer demands and stuff like that. But he scored. Alvaro Morata scored twice. So they look like they're going to compete. Obviously, Madrid and Barca are still here, but
No, I really think that they
they're gonna be
can.
a force. You think they
I
can?
think they can. They're a great team, and the thing about Simeone is they're always compact at the back. They have a
Yeah.
great goalkeeper, and the thing is now they have great depth. The rejuvenation of Antoine Griezmann has been something amazing to see.
Yeah.
Memphis Depay has been great since leaving from Barcelona. They have good depth at attacking options. They have Marcos Llorente. They bring in another forward in Samuel Lino, like I talked about. Cesar
Hmm.
Siyunshu was a good signing. Even Cesar Aspilicueta and Javi Galan for the defense. Yeah, great recruitment from the board and from Diego Simeone. And I think that they're gonna be a very tough place to play this season in Europe.
They always are,
They
man. They
always
always
are.
are. They always are. It's if the Simeone he'll keep clean sheets, and that's if you can do
Invaluable in
that, you have a
football.
chance. Yeah, you have a chance always.
Yeah, they always do well finding players and
Do you do you think over like a 38 game season, do you think it's a three horse race with Barca, Real Madrid, or do you
yeah, I
think
think they can
it's
push for
just
it.
two?
I think they'll keep it competitive.
I hope so, because last year it was just two, and then the year before that, Real Madrid ran away with it. But
Yeah, and then the year before that was Atleti. So
yeah,
they
so
could. I think they can.
it might be their turn.
It might be. But we'll talk a little bit about Barca before we move to Prem stuff. But Barcelona seven game thriller, just kind of 30 seconds to a minute. Your thoughts?
Lamine, what's his name?
Yeah,
I don't know how to say. Y-
Yamal.
Lamine Yamal is incredible, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him a little bit later, but um, I don't know. Like Gavi played, he scored, but Barca is. I'm not really. They're not off to a good start. It's just they're just collecting their points. But
Hmm.
it's good to see them actually playing good football. They scored a lot of goals,
Great
but
game. Yeah.
yeah. But defense is a concern if you're conceding 3 goals. That's not. But I think they'll be fine. But injuries have been a problem. Pedri's out for a month or two, and that's been a lingering thing with him for the last 2 years. Obviously he's young and he's played out freaking a decade's worth of football already. But yeah, Lewandowski scored 2, so they're
Good. Yeah, it was good. It
they're
was
not
good.
they're not
Great game. Villarreal is away is a tough place to play, and I thought that they had some points in the bag, but of course, they did not. But yeah, like I said, credit to Barcelona. The one thing I will give them credit for is that when they have deficiencies in their team, they are never afraid to play kids from the academy, and I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, and that's helped them sustain in this tough period they've been going through. They
Financially, and
have,
they're somehow still find a way to make signings work.
yeah,
Cough,
and
cough.
I don't,
Another
I don't,
Spanish
I
team.
don't, I don't think, I don't think Gavi's still registered. So
Is
hopefully
he
they can.
not?
I don't think so. I was reading something that he wasn't. So
I
they'll
hate
be,
Javier Tebas, man. He's
they'll
ruining
be,
this
they'll be
league.
trying to register him sometime in the next few days. So
No, he
hopefully,
I hate Javier Tebas. So
I
but
don't.
very frustrating.
But they
No,
know how to
Gavi
shuffle the
played. Gavi
books.
played
No,
on the weekend.
he played, but like something about like registration, like he's not fully
Yeah.
because I remember last year he extended and then like they were having issues with like because they gave him the number 6 and then they had to take it back and stuff like that. But I don't know. They know how to
Yeah.
shuffle the books. They'll figure it
They
out.
do. They do. They'll figure it out. But let's kind of pivot. We talked a lot about transfers in La Liga to the Prem. We talked about United already, which was
Yeah.
good. Very shaky game. Uh,
Mhm.
how about that Newcastle Liverpool game? That was a great one.
That
Darwin
was
Nunez 2 goals with
yeah.
10 men.
Yeah.
Talk,
Two goals where he missed them every time last year. Like those finishes he was getting so many of those last year that he just completely missed. It's good to see him like he didn't start, but like he's been a difference maker for them. Obviously the Van Dyke
he will
red and all that
now.
stuff. He will now. But I'm more like Liverpool. I think they had a really good transfer window, and I think they'll be top 4. But Newcastle have had a tough draw because they had to play Man City and Liverpool back to back. So I don't think that's going to derail their seasons at all. Now it's just like clear skies in the future. But
Hmm.
I thought it was a good game. It was a shocking end, but obviously Allison is oof. I he
Crazy
might
keeper, man.
he might be the best I've ever seen, man. Oh my goodness.
At the
He's,
position or in the league
I Let me just say the league. He's the best in the league, but
ever.
he's he's incredible. Allison's amazing, man.
He is a
I
great
I don't
keeper.
I don't I won't say the greatest ever, but I think he might be Liverpool's greatest signing ever. I mean, like
Wow,
that's incredible.
wow.
Like I don't understand how. And he's never mentioned in goalkeeper debates. He wasn't in the team of the season that was announced
No,
today. It was Ramsdale. But he never is in the headlines or anything like that. But
nah,
he's
he's a
just been
great player.
consistent for the last 5 years, and he's been their best player the last 2 years. So
I thought there was a lot of mismanagement on the side of Eddie Howe. How do you take Sandro Tonali off and bring in Longstaff in a game
yeah,
against? That was crazy.
they had
Uh,
so many chances. Like there was a few like Calvin what's his name Callum Wilson was like running on
oh, they took
and
off
all he
Isak
had to
too.
tap.
Yes.
They took off Isak, yeah,
Yep.
and he had a tap in, but freaking somebody didn't pass it to him. It was just bad.
Nah, for sure.
Newcastle could have had 2 draws against arguably the 2 best
They
teams in
are a
the
great
league.
team. They are a great team, and they've been a great addition to join these top end
Yeah,
teams for the Prem. But
I can't wait to watch them in the Champions League. That's gonna be
Nunez is For me, like you said, anytime you miss a bunch of chances in a season, but you're
Yeah,
getting the chances, it means that you're doing something right. And I think
yeah,
it was kind of only a matter of time before it clicked, even though he's like a very memeable player. He's a very, maybe some people say it's a one trick pony. He's very, straight line runner, make a move in the box, score, which is fine. There is definitely space for that type of striker, or
yeah,
like inverted forward. They tried using him last year, but it's a breath of fresh air for United, for Liverpool. Sorry, uh, and yeah, I'm very curious to see next week is who do Liverpool play next week? I believe it's Villa at home. Great game. That's gonna be a
yeah.
great game.
The Yeah, I don't. Mohamed Salah played well too. So like, I don't know. He had the final assist, but
Yeah, he's
I
always gonna be good.
their midfield. Their midfield. What do you think of? You know,
It's
their
very interesting. The Endo, I think that, like I said, I think they should have gone for a defensive midfielder, and maybe there is time in the window, and Liverpool have been the type of team to do things like that. I do
yeah,
think the one thing that they have over last year is they finally have some decent depth, especially in the attacking side. To be able to bring Darwin Nunez and Diogo Jota from the bench, to bring Harvey Elliott from for the bench for the midfield, helps.
yeah,
Alexis McAllister has helped a lot, but
yeah,
they still need a center back. Maybe Joe Gomez and Konate are not bad. Fullbacks have been fine. Trent Alexander Arnold is still trucking. I've always said he's a great player, even
yeah,
without even the question marks in defense. But yeah, we'll see. And Luis Diaz being back helps a lot too. Obviously, he had to get
yeah,
taken off early, but yeah,
yeah.
I stick with my preseason prediction. I say third.
They finally have like a full team, at least starting 11 that's built for like club system. I think
Mhm.
there's no Henderson or Milner like just coming and Thiago to just clog up the midfield. Everybody's moving, everybody's pressing. So it's good to see. I have them number 3 too. So I think they look like that. They're fine. Like for the like you don't like once are going up against Arsenal or like City and stuff like that. Obviously, Newcastle is a tough test, but I think they're better than them on paper, and they will be. And
Yeah.
they won't. They'll be well rested. They'll be in Europa, so they're not going to be unless Mohamed Salah wants the stat pad. He can. They don't have any backups for him, but yeah.
All right, now the floor is yours. I need you to talk to me. What happened with your pride and joy in Arsenal?
Oh my goodness. I don't even. We've tried the same thing 3 weeks in a row, and it has not worked 3 weeks in a row, and we
Mm-hmm.
finally paid for it. So it's just like when is it gonna stop? Is all I'm thinking. Like when are we just gonna be obviously like Zinchenko's like slowly coming back and Urian Timber got hurt, all that stuff, but we cannot defend. We cannot, especially at home. Like we struggled with it last year, where we had all of our clean sheets. I think Ramsdale had 13 or 14 clean sheets in the season. 12 or 13 of those were away.
Wow.
Um, and starting this season, we've had 2 home games, and both of them we've conceded goals. Um, so I don't know what Arteta's like. What's his vision? I thought it was playing the long game, but I did not sign up for dropping points to Fulham.
At
That's
home,
not.
yeah.
And our second best center back is not playing. He plays every game, but he's playing 15, 20 minutes instead of playing full 90 that he did all last year. He did not miss one game last year. He played all 38 games last year, and this year he's 0 for 3 right now. He's been a substitute every so and then Kai Havertz is a problem right now. He's missing clear-cut chances as everyone predicted he would. That's just who he is.
Yeah,
I think it just doesn't help him that like our left-handed side is not as fluid as our right-handed side is
for
because
sure.
we have Odegaard and Saka on
Versus
that side.
Martinelli and Havertz, yeah.
Versus, yeah, Havertz who are not those kind of players who are not that like they're just not as good as in tight spaces as Odegaard and Saka. So I think Gabriel Jesus played I think 5-10 minutes. He'll be playing a little bit more. So slowly like we're becoming the team we are supposed to be, but right now
Still in first gear.
hard, man. it's hard. It's tough. That was, and the games have not been good watches. Like it's so hard. We're not doing
They're
anything.
scraping results. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we're
I
a
do
tough
think
watch.
maybe that one of the things Arteta has been pulling from Pep is the propensity to overthink a lot. I think that he's
Yeah,
overthinking a lot, and I look at Arsenal's team and I feel like it's one of those teams that kind of picks itself for me,
yeah,
where I think it should just be a back four with Zinchenko, White, Saliba, and Gabriel. You should
yeah,
play a double pivot ahead of it with Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, Odegaard in front of them, and a front three of Jesus, Saka, and Martinelli. You want to play Trossard and kind of mix it around, play Trossard. You want to play Eddie Nketiah, play Eddie Nketiah. But I feel
yeah.
like the team kind of picks itself. And I feel like there's been so many, like this week they played Partey again at that like weird, like inverted
Inverted. Yeah,
right midfielder, and then a back three with Kyrgios, Saliba, and White. It just doesn't make sense sometimes. Havertz in this like weird. I remember it was like everyone was kind of trolling that the week one, uh, like the lineup came out and everyone was like, "Who the hell is playing where? Like, what is this?" You know.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. Like you said, I feel like Arsenal's team picks itself, and next weekend is the big test, home against United. Have to get it done.
Exactly. Like our starting 11 is probably after City, like or Liverpool, like the easiest to like just point out. You know,
Yeah.
everybody has a position. Um, Partey is Partey was our, I think for the most part last year was our best player. Um, and he can play the same way he did last year. It's just Arteta is not letting him. He should be right next to Declan Rice, with Declan Rice playing the shocker role as he was brought in to do.
Yeah.
And then slowly take over the sole number 6 role as the year advances, because Partey will not play a full season. That we know. So it's just I don't know what to say. It's just been, obviously we're a great team. I know it. I know that, but it's just I feel the opposite of you, where you're winning games and you're like, we kind of suck,
We're not
but
gonna
we're
win
like,
games like this,
yeah,
and you're like, yeah, exactly.
exactly. So I'm like, we suck right now, but we should be. So it's a long season. But right now Arteta is just doing too much, and it's I can't point. No player has played like terrible. It's just they're being played in places where they
Let's see.
shouldn't be.
Let's see.
He's
Let's
overthinking.
now. Yeah, I agree, 100%. All yeah, on the coaching side, but the last team, you were like 2 minutes away from greatness. I called you crazy last week on 352. You said City would drop points. They almost did, if
Yeah,
not for an 89th minute winner by Rodri, or 88th minute.
yeah.
Uh, very, very interesting game, but City stay winning. They find a way every week.
It's like everyone wants to get to like where they're at right now, where they find a way to win no matter what. How, it doesn't matter who's on. Obviously, Pep wasn't there. Doesn't matter who's playing. Doesn't matter where they're playing. And it just, Rodri is so clutch, man. He's done this time and time again. He did it obviously in the Champions League final. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's obvious. He did it this week. He did it against Arsenal last year. Like he's done it. He's done it every time when called upon. He's delivered.
Great player,
Um, Holland scored.
of
Foden played
course.
well. He missed. I think Holland missed a penalty, but still, like they're just trucking. You know,
They
they take
find
care
ways
of
to win
business no matter
games.
what,
Good
and that's
teams
how you
do it.
know. That's how
Good teams always do it.
Arsenal we thought was that, but they
Yeah, I was
can't
about to
defend
say
set
that.
pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, still. So, yeah, City find a way to win. Although I do think I continue to say I think this is the year. They have weaknesses. I think they will drop more points than they did maybe last year. Maybe there won't be as much like complacency
Yeah.
over like the long stretch, but there will be games where they just kind of look off, and I think we've already started to see that.
Yeah. City at the beginning of the seasons is like where they don't struggle, but they just like dip in form. Like nobody, they just drop points here or there. And right now they haven't. They've played, I think they got away with one in Newcastle, and then now they I don't know how they did that.
Yeah,
Rodri's ridiculous,
no,
man.
absolutely. And
I'm tired of
Alvarez
them,
and
man.
Haaland, great. Great
Great
partnership.
duo.
Great duo.
They play unbelievably well together. They've been starting them both together for the whole season. So
Hmm.
Alvarez is too good to be on a bench for anybody.
He is. He is way too good. Another. Yeah.
And they got
Next
him
week.
and they got him for like another 8 years.
I know. I
So
know. And him and
it's
Holland.
yeah.
But
Oh, man.
let's kind of segue into the last segment, which we call 352. We put 5 minutes on the clock, three
Yeah.
picks each, and two people in the studio. Uh, let's see your first one. Uh,
All right, let me pull it up right now.
no worries.
I can't believe. Um, I'm picking. Oh shit! I think United will upset Arsenal. I think the fact that
Wow. Wow.
we're well, it's so bad, but we are not good at home. That's one. We barely beat them last year. I think we scored a 93rd minute the Nketiah goal.
Was
When
it
they
last? Was
came to the
that you
Emirates,
not really? Oh yeah. Okay.
and they beat us away. Yeah, we barely beat them, and we were like on our best run at that time. Um, like the one thing I will say, like obviously signings aside and all that stuff, I think United did like two great things to get. At least two players did really well. Um, Rashford was involved in every goal, and Bruno was involved in every goal.
Hmm.
They got back to their midfield of last year with Ericsson and Casemiro playing together. Obviously they're going to be losing. The thing is with
They can't
Arsenal,
defend
we
as
can't
much as
defend, and
no
then
United either.
United can't defend, but Arsenal can defend, and then they play down to the level of whatever they're playing against, which Man United is coming into down 3, 4, 5 players, in defense, in midfield, and in attack. So like I think if I not even upset like they'll win, I just think they'll get something. I think they'll get a point or they'll win. And it's gonna be a tough watch because we should not be conceding goals at the Emirates, man. It should not be that hard. Should not be that hard. Just play
So
Gabriel, man. Subhanallah.
So both of us cannot go 3 for 3 because my first one is that Arsenal win and keep a clean sheet, and Saka scores.
Oh my
I have a
goodness.
three-headed monster. Arsenal, I think they win. They keep a
Yeah,
clean sheet. Give me 2-0. By the way, I was right on Chelsea winning 3-0 against Luton.
you
I
were.
never got to
You got the
brag.
exact you got to say yeah, you got the exact number of
Give me
goals
give me
right.
a give me an
Yeah.
Arsenal 2-0, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they sweat.
You think it'll be that easy?
I think Arteta finally lets the team pick itself this weekend. I think that Fulham draw was, obviously it's easy to keep doing the same thing when you're winning. Now, starting to get some question marks, people looking. If he brings out that same BS and they lose this weekend, there's going to be huge question marks. Give me
Yeah.
Arteta to just kind of just go back to a team that just picks itself, that makes sense. Maybe you get more minutes out of Gabriel Jesus. Give me a 2-0.
Okay. Let's say it's the weekend, 1 hour before the game, lineup drops, and you see Partey
Oh,
at
they do
left
that
back,
same
right
garbage?
back.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think I'll start to sweat a little bit.
See, that's what I'm anticipating. I don't think this guy will change, man, which is the most frustrating thing ever.
If they
I don't
don't
think
win
he'll
this
change his ways.
weekend and he does that same garbage, he will change. I will say
Bro,
that.
I have seen this guy lose 9 games out of or get like a draw or a L in like 10 straight games and not change. He will not change. It's just his way or the highway, no matter
Nah,
what.
maybe then.
Oh
But
my goodness.
what's your second one?
Uh, um, I told you I'm gonna stick with City losing without Pep.
Until the
So
home
and
against Fulham?
yeah, Fulham beat Tottenham today, and they got a point against
No,
Arsenal.
no. All right.
Come on.
Home against Fulham. Wow, that's bold.
Yeah, I'm not picking them to lose, but I think they'll drop points, which is gonna be on the same week as Arsenal loses, which is gonna be shit. But
We'll see. But my second one is a little creative, kind of outside of the box. 3 games
yeah,
this weekend with the new teams to the Prem. Luton Town home against West Ham. Burnley home against Spurs. Sheffield United home against Everton. Give me two of those three teams to get points.
okay.
And I think one of them will win.
Luton have
Uh,
not looked good.
I don't know why that seems like that's I think the first game at the ground. Like it's gonna be their
Yeah,
first game. I think in the Premier League in ever, ever in the Prem maybe.
yeah, it is their first time in the Prem. Yeah,
The
you're right.
first time in the Prem, first game at
Yeah,
home, new renovated stadium, very like different environment. Burnley home against Spurs, maybe that's the one that's the loss. I think Sheffield win outright, to be honest. But yeah,
yeah.
give me two of those teams to get points and one of them to win. I think it's going to be a good weekend for the newly promoted teams in the Premier League.
Okay. Do you have I did do you have any of those relegated? Like, is you think Luton will
Yeah,
stay
I
up
have
or
Luton and Sheffield going down.
going down? Okay.
I had Burnley
Yeah, Luton.
12th, I think.
But yeah, Burnley will be fine. Burnley will be fine.
No, I don't know
And
so
then
far, bro. They've looked pretty bad.
I yeah,
Give them
I
time.
think
Give
I think
company
company
time.
yeah, company will adjust. I think it's just like it's a shock coming into the Prem, you know,
It
like
is.
because
It
last
is.
year they dominated the championship and they were playing the best football ever. But like you come in and you're like, oh, I want to keep playing the same way, and you get a nice little humbling really
That's
quickly. But
true.
I
That's
think
true.
and then my last, I think this week, Lamine makes his decision. Right, if he's staying, if
Oh,
he's playing
Spain
for
and
Spain or
Morocco.
Morocco, and I think he'll stay home. I think he'll play for Morocco.
Oh,
I
he's
think
gonna go to Morocco.
I hope
I hope
that's
so.
what
I
I'm
really
hoping.
do. I hope him
Because
and
I
Brahim Diaz both go to Morocco.
yeah, because Spain project is not moving me. Obviously
No,
they did good in the Euros a few years ago, but the World Cup showing was not impressive. And Morocco obviously is on the
I
come
would
up.
love to
They
see
have
him at AFCON.
yeah, that would be I oh my god, he's
If
16.
he was combining with Brahim Diaz, An-Nasseri and Ziyech,
Yeah.
that'd be really good. Yeah.
I think the Spain squad comes out Thursday and Morocco squad comes out Friday.
So we're gonna
So
see.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll find out this week, inshallah.
Wow. Yeah.
But I think he
Inshallah.
stays.
My
I
last
think
one's a little boring. You think
mhm.
he stays? Yeah, Morocco. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
My last one's a little boring, but Harry Kane more goals this weekend. I think he scores. I think he scores a hat trick, or I think he
He's
scores two.
he's already at I think 3 goals and 1 assist, I think. So he's in heaven, man. He's in heaven.
So frustrating to watch him there.
No hard tackles, you know. What do they say? The every highlight is like
On a
Bundesliga
breakaway.
defenders are running to their goal, you know. They're never
I've never seen a goal like six guys just sitting in the box.
no,
There
it's
is no
just them
such
just
thing.
you
All
just see them right.
transitions. I remember like Holland the first time I was watching, they were down 2 goals and they were getting like 3-on-1s. I was just like, what in the world is going on in
I,
this
I
league?
I I think that was one of his first games in the
It was his
like
first game. He
first
scored a hat
yeah.
trick as a
He scored a
substitute.
hat trick as
And
a
they
oh
were
my
down
god.
two and they were getting like 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. One time it was like 3-3. They got like a 2-on-0. I was like, what in the world is going on in this league right now?
No, no. Bundesliga is hilarious, but
It's a good league, but
Bayern have talent. And
yeah, they do.
obviously, I think Leverkusen looks really good too. I think that's someone Real Madrid is eyeing.
Xabi
Uh,
Alonso, yeah.
Xavi Alonso. So is that the next coach of Madrid
I mean, it doesn't
when
really matter who it is if they don't sign people, so they could bring in Prime
when
Mourinho. Doesn't matter.
when Carlo Ancelotti gets his head chopped
Bro,
off?
Allegri
That's
didn't even want to go there because of this garbage.
Allegri.
Thank God, by the way.
Thank God. Yeah, exactly. Allegri's at home. Leave him alone,
Thank
man.
God. Please keep him as far away as from Real Madrid.
And for when Wenger was being replaced, I swear to God, I wanted Allegri more than anybody in my life because that was when they were getting to like the finals, and
Oof.
that was the year after they beat Tottenham in the Champions League.
Oof.
And but he's
No,
you
keep him
know
away from your club.
he can't get anything out of Vlahovic. Oh,
No, no, nothing. It's such a waste. 70 million. Madrid, what are you doing?
I hope Vlahovic suffers, but like he's too good to be
He's
there
a
right
great
now.
player. But
Yeah,
another great week, bro.
yeah. Inshallah, the it'll be. I'm still praying on Madrid's downfall. So
Next week
I've been
we get more football and we get UCL talk.
Champions League.
Champions League is back.
We're back.
Arsenal keeps tweeting about how the competition works.
Hey, the competition is about tweeting about us too, you know?
Yeah,
Every week
that's
they're
true.
dropping somebody about they missed us, and I can't wait
I
to hear that music.
cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm very excited,
Yeah.
and yeah. So next week, we get Champions League talk. The draw is later in the week, and NFL comes back too, which is nice. So
Yeah.
more sports.
This is the best time of the sports season. Every
It
sport's
is.
in action.
Yes,
So
yes, absolutely. But
yeah.
pleasure as always, bro. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 12, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yalla.
Take care,
Take care,
everyone.
guys. Yes. Peace.